Namaskar, Pranam, Johar. I want to write an editorial on education as a subject, especially higher education, in which the Government of India, UGC, and related ministries are involved. What is happening now, and a certain number of well-known, recognized scientific and research faces are involved in it, they have written to the government that the system of NIRF, which is National Institutional Ranking Framework, that has been instituted to measure the amount of research being done by higher education institutions across the country. And this affects private institutions more than the government institutions. What they are doing now, according to the message given out by these scientists and researchers, is that a lot of these institutions are circumventing, are going around the system to cheat and to usurp as much funds as possible. So NIRF has a faulty construction. What it is doing is it is measuring the quantity of research papers being produced by an institution, not the quality. Therefore, you have research being done by students and faculty assisted, which is focused on vegetable and fruit consumption by citizens. And that gets its citation from another set of students in that same university who are doing research on diesel engines. Simple thing is, what research is being done by the second group on diesel engines? Nobody knows. What research is being done about fruits and vegetable consumption? It's consumption, mind you, not production. That also nobody knows. And they are in return, each one is giving citation to the other. There are also many fraudulent publications which have come up primarily to cater to these demands of the universities, who are publishing the works of these researchers. So technically speaking, they are doing research, it is being published in a professional journal, and they are receiving the citation. Now, an organization like the University Grants Commission gives out a lot of money, like hundreds of crores, to these higher education institutions. And the end result is that nothing really comes out of that research that these people do. It is a pity that over the years, and I am not talking about which government or which leader, but over the years in India, if we observe, a lot of focus has been given on higher education, whereas our elementary, primary, basic, secondary education has been completely neglected over the decades. The result is that students in their formative years, they are deprived of a good base as far as language goes, comprehension goes, and they get an idea of education as passing an exam or passing exams. So that becomes the target, not the process of learning, not the process of imbibing knowledge or mastery over a certain subject or a certain language. And then we have the higher education institutions, which are very well funded by the government, very well funded by private organizations, industrial houses. And they, in return, what are they doing? They are closing their ranks, in the sense that less and less number of lower middle class or economically very weak section of the people, students from these classes, are being deprived of higher education, and the top level education is going only to the rich and the super rich. So the borders are closing in, and the students eventually, when they come out of IITs, IIMs and such institutions, whether government or private, they eventually, what happens is, they move out of the country, they go abroad and build a life for themselves, which is fine. Nobody has any complaints about that. But the bulk of the students who are below that level, who are economically weaker, do not get a basic education, or I would say do not get a basic sense of comprehension. And therefore, the quality of life in India is also suffering, and I guess my study is that in future this gap will increase and it will make the quality of life even further inferior if we do not put a check on this now. These scientists and researchers who have talked about NIRF, they have said that it is time that we move out of this quantitative mindset that this institution produced 500 or 1000 research papers. Instead of that, there should be a method to screen for qualitative research papers. Suppose somebody is producing 500 research papers, that's fine, accept all of them. But then a secondary screening should be done by NIRF, which will be checking the quality of the research. And based on the quality of the research, the ranking should be given to that institution. That is not being done now. So my whole approach to this is, it is time we focused on quality, not just quantity. Quantity should be taken care of at the lower levels, at the primary, elementary, primary, secondary level of education. After that, it should be qualitative. If this can be worked out, then I think in the not so distant future, we can mark a change in the educational system of India. Nobody is actually sincerely thinking of what reforms education requires. We are always talking about reforms in the judiciary, about reforms in the police. That is all fine. But then basically, if you create a citizen who's aware and who's positive and who comprehends facts of life, then you have a better society, you have a better country. That is what I want to write in my edit. It is time now that even as a society and a government, we change our focus and we go in for qualitative education now. This is the subject I want to write on, and I would be happy if you have any ideas or comments or inputs that you would like to share with me and to all the others who read your comments. The process of thinking should start in this country as soon as possible. Thank you for listening, and this is Kali Puja time. May Ma Kali bless all of you. Thank you.